I'm saying we can't keep them, but we're catching them.
Fuck yeah, yeah.
Showtime.
Oh boy.
So we're talking about Lake Murray tonight, correct?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Lake Murray, man. All the trees are blossoming. We got like 80-degree days, and then it never fails. Here comes the big cold front in March, and kind of puts everything on pause. The bait was getting ready to start. The shad were getting ready to start spawning. The stripers were getting ready to start heading up to the back of the major creek arms, running up the rivers, and big tight groups. You were going to be able to go out there and catch your limit, no matter how many people you had on the boat. And Mother Nature pumped the brakes on that.
Well, they may still do it.
Personally, I'm glad to see this cold snap, and don't even want to call it a cold snap because it's really seasonal for what it should be this time of year, But I'm glad to see it because that will extend the spring fishing season, if that makes sense.
I love talking to. Yes, that does make sense if the weather will cooperate. It's all about the water temps. We don't like those drastic changes. We don't want to go from 57-degree water temp to 80-degree water temp in a 2-week span.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it helps keep the bug population down. I was telling her, Pete, I don't know, you know what I'm talking about. Last year we went out, I think it was like my second or third time, and we wasn't even going offshore. We were just going out of North Middle Beach out there. I think we were going to try to go to, to the 360s?
390s.
390s. Dude, and those bugs was tearing our ass up. If you stopped or slowed down, and they would bite at you on the ankle.
It must have been a flat, calm day because that's when they get your ass.
It was flat. It literally was. And if you stopped or slowed down at all, and it's like they would kill the ankle, our ankles, they were killing us at our feet. And they were biting us through the bug repellent. And we went back in. I told her, I said, fuck this. I ain't fighting these bugs. I mean, it's killing us.
You need one of those, what are those things called that keeps the bugs away? Everyone talks about. I've never had one.
Snappers?
No.
A cell, something cell.
Thermocell.
Thermocell. Yeah. Got any comments rolling in? I see nothing on my side.
I have nothing. Let's see. I'm showing 6 watching on my screen here.
I got 13 watching. No comments yet. Can you guys hear us? Can you see us? Throw a comment on there.
So yeah, back on topic. Murray. About Murray. What about it?
Murray. Well, the water temp. I haven't been on Murray in a long time, but I've been on lakes around here, and I'm sure that the water temperature is within a couple of degrees, the same. And water temp here is around 57 Saturday. If your water temps, whatever the temperature is first thing in the morning, a lot of guys will say, no, it's not 57. It's 60 or it's 62. I'm like, no, it's 62 at 3:00 in the afternoon, maybe, but not first thing in the morning. That's where you get your accurate water temp is first thing in the morning. So these fish are not grouped up. They're not, I guarantee you they're not moving up in the backs of the creeks yet. They're not, but there will be fish in the backs. That's the thing about Murray is somebody will say, oh, I know where the fish are. I know where I'm going. Okay, well then you'll probably catch fish because they stock 1 million fingerlings a year in Murray, and they're literally everywhere. And right now they're not real tightly schooled up. Like I said, they're not really starting their spawn run yet. But if I were to have a game plan for Murray, and you got all of your community holes, you're going to have a lot of people telling you, go to Crystal Lake, go to Macedonia Church, go to the rivers. Go, Buffalo Creek, go Mid Lake, whatever. That's fine. You could probably catch fish in all those places. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start on a main lake point somewhere mid lake, fish that main lake point. If I don't do anything, I'm going to move on up into the creek, start fishing secondary points halfway up in the creek. If I don't do any good there, I'm going to move on further back in the creek. And I'm going to continue to fish points until I find the fish. That's my game. Well, not necessarily fish, but bait. These stripers on Lake Murray, they move. They migrate like crazy. They are constantly on the move.
I think one thing that disappointed me about Murray, back when I fished it last month, is this: them damn fish ain't shit in Murray because they're all skinny and lean, and it reminded me of Lake Norman fish. I mean, they were literally that skinny. So I caught fish, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? It ain't shit. It ain't shit. I
thought that they would be because like 5 years ago. The population, the striper population was doing very, very well on Murray. and you were catching a lot of fish that were 19 and a half, 20 and a half inches, just below the keeper, the size limit, below 21 inches. And you're automatically, you're thinking to yourself, oh man, in a couple of more years, every one of these are going to be keepers.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't seem to be the case. I know Scott was talking about it a couple of weeks ago on the show. It's like they just don't get any bigger than that for some reason.
I don't know. Lake Well is my first time there, and probably my last time must have fished tournaments there. But I mean, like we weighed a fish in our big fish. The tournament was 7.2. Any other damn lake, that fish would have been 8 pounds all day long. I mean, all day long. But you just about as lean as my arm, and it's kind of disappointing. It really was.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you just have to kind of take a chance on getting a 0 if you want to catch a bigger fish on Lake Murray. You kind of got to go against the grain and go where the big schools aren't, and pull bait shallow when all your fish are deep. Just pull bait shallow because these bigger fish are kind of, they're more loners, and
and
you see a lot of these.
We definitely did catch those fish shallower, those 2 bigger fish, no doubt. Away from the deeper holes, I guess we'll call it.
What was the water muddy, or?
It was extremely stained. I mean, it was fishable. It wasn't bad, I guess, but we'll call it a couple ticks past stained.
About 2 foot of visibility.
We'll call it bad. I saw the lower unit motor. How's that? Probably about 3 foot, maybe.
Okay, I think 3 foot.
Yeah.
There's Ryan Spivey.
Oh boy.
What's up, Ron?
What's up, y'all?
Ryan Spivey, have you ever fished Lake Murray?
I can say I actually have one time.
Well, it actually has a lot of similarities to Lake Norman.
I was also probably 7 years old.
It's a very big man-made reservoir with a lot of creek arms, just like Lake Norman. It's a little bigger. It's around 48,000 acres, I think. Lake Murray or Lake Norman is 33,000 acres. So it's a little bigger than Norman, but
I have a guy, I think I can call a friend on here. He actually said he is not driving by Watery to fish Murray. I believe.
You got it, buddy. You got
I'm
it.
just saying, man.
You got it. You got it.
Well, let me tell you. Here's my opinion on Watery versus Lake Murray. It's about like the difference between Lake Norman and Lake Wiley. That's Lake Watery is like Lake Wiley is to Lake Norman. I mean, it's a much dirtier. I won't say dirtier. It's a much more nutrient-rich reservoir. Lake Watery is.
Yeah,
and it's
got a lot of organisms.
It's much smaller, and the fish, they're all stunted. Which, with Murray, yes, the majority of the fish, you could argue they're stunted, but there are still some big fish in Murray. Don't know that there's any big fish in Watery.
What's your definition of big fish?
20 plus pounds.
All right, no big fish in the water.
And another thing that I don't like about Watery is how they say that there are different strains of striper. Whatever strain that Watery has they have taken on the color of the reservoir. When you catch a fish from Watery, they don't have that beautiful, bright, white, gleaming color. Murray's fish are absolutely gorgeous. They got that purple, bluish hue. Their bellies are extremely like bleach white.
They're 2x4s.
I will agree with that 100%, man. But here's the thing: them damn Watery fish, when they fucking hit, you can't pull your damn rod at the holder.
Well, it's a more shallow reservoir.
A 20-inch fish, you can't pull that damn rod at the holder. I'm telling you, man.
I'll tell you something that I do like about Watery better than Murray is when they school on the top. You can throw Zara spooks, you can throw top waters, you can throw red fins, you can catch them with top water plugs. Whereas on Lake Murray, 99% of the time when they school, they're subsurface. That's why those guys are throwing the bucktails, the ice fly combos, lures that run subsurface is because the birds are hammering, they're feeding on the bait, but the fish aren't up on the top. The fish are still subsurface. I don't like that. I would rather walk the dog and catch one on a spook than have to throw a bucktail.
But yeah, like Spivey says, man, I will not drive past Watery on purpose to go to Murray. I won't ever.
But why? Because Murray is an absolutely gorgeous lake. I mean, people travel all the way across the country to fish Lake Murray. Lake Murray is an absolutely
and I don't know why
lake.
They're fucking retarded, honestly. for those dang 7-pound fish. Seriously, I'm catching bigger fish in Watery.
Another thing is that Watery is a piss hole for catfish. It's just not a trophy catfishery anymore. Murray is a low key trophy catfish fishery.
So can I get a word in here?
Yeah.
All right. So I got a girl sitting here beside of me that has pretty good proof that Water Eat has trophy catfish, you know. But when it comes to I'm more sentimental. I ain't gonna get like scientific about it. You know how Norman at night has our heart.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Watery at night also has my heart, and Watery in the morning has my heart. I mean, it just honestly, I've never been to Watery and struck out. That's probably why I love Watery.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Let me tell you all something about Watery as far as striper fishing time of day. I don't know what it is in the wintertime. You can't really find school in action in the morning. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can, yes, you will at times. Yeah, if you get lucky. But for some reason, them damn fish on Watery, from about noon, we'll say from about 2 and beyond, that's when they go fucking crazy on top. Always.
I lived at Watery for 2 years.
Did you?
Watery Correctional.
Yeah. Damn, son.
For real.
You get that dang fresh smell of sewer water every day?
Boy, it stank down there. That was a farm mode.
Yeah.
I went topwater fishing with Roger Tate about 15 years ago on Lake Watery. He took me down there in, I want to say it was September, and we went all the way down close to the dam, and we were in his bass boat, and he got his binoculars out, and he started scanning the lake with his binoculars, and all of a sudden he threw them down, crunked the big motor up, put the hammer down, and we stopped a couple 100 yards from where the fish were schooling. He turned it off, got on the trolling motor. We went up to him. He was throwing these things called Sammies. It's these topwater plugs. It's about like a spook, I guess. But
you walk the dog with them.
Well, no, you don't walk the dog with the Sammy. I guess you could, but the way he would do it is he would just do that pull, real kind of pull, kind of like you would catching amberjack at the tower on a popar. But it's kind of like he's kind of working it like that. And I had a Zara spook. I threw a Zara spook out there. Actually, I think it was a heading spitting image, which is similar to a spook. I threw it out there and I started walking the dog, and Roger looked back there at me and he's like, "That's not how you do it, man." And it's before he could even get that out of his mouth, I snatched one. That right there got me hooked on topwater fishing. That's the greatest feeling in the world, because you can.
What do you think the best artificial bait ever made is?
That's not a one answer for that.
There's not one answer.
Yeah, they are.
Best artificial bait for what?
You can catch a fish every cast with it.
Okay, well, let's at least go hard plastic or soft plastic.
You can catch a fish every cast with it, or at least they say you can, or your money back.
Are you talking hard plastic or soft plastic?
No.
Which one?
I think it's hard.
What is it?
Banjo minnow.
Banjo minnow.
Shit.
Oh God! My cousin bought some of those. Shane, you know Shane, right?
Really?
He bought some banjo minnows. Yeah, we used them on Lake
cousin?
Norman.
Shane's your cousin?
Shane Cochran, not Shane.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, never mind. I thought it was Shane Real. I'm like, damn, okay.
Hey, how do you add a photo to the chat?
To the chat?
Yeah.
I mean, I can add a photo to this main screen right here.
No.
They are. I could last.
Send me the photos, Bobby, and I'll put it on there.
So Watery is the reason. Watery's the main reason why I went ahead and started striper fishing more than anything else. I mean, that lake absolutely spoiled me. I mean, back in the early 2000s, I think it was. All it was one experience, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck crappie, fuck bass, fuck a damn catfish, striper all the way.
Tell us how you really feel.
Fuck everything. Yeah, there you go.
JR, did you change something on the programming?
What do you mean? No.
Last week or the last couple of shows, I could like add or show somebody's comment, put it up on the screen, or put myself in or out, or anybody that's in the show in or out, and I can't do it now. You took my control away. You took my
hell.
You talking about their comment? You could put their comment up there.
I could put you remember I could put their comment up there, or I could add somebody to the show or take them away.
Right? Yeah, you can't do that. I haven't done anything, Wes.
You took my power away, man.
I didn't take anything away. I promise.
Damn.
We're tripping.
Wes, I mean, Spivey keeps going away.
Hey, Ryan, you got someone asking what's your fans only ID, whatever.
I just got out of the shower, man. I wasn't even getting in. I didn't even know I was in this thing tonight. All right.
Heard
Tony
that.
Kate was on here for a little while. Tony,
hey, but $20 is $20, okay?
It's a lot of gas money right now, boy. I'm telling
You
you.
ain't kidding.
Get you to the damn ramp. That's it.
We just got back from a cruise yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Nice.
My first cruise.
How was it?
I loved everything but Nassau.
Oh, I've been to Nassau several times. You didn't like Nassau?
Oh my God!
Did you go to Senior Frogs?
Dude, my anxiety was so high.
Why? Because it was so crowded.
It was so crowded. They was unloading 6 boats. Like the beach, there wasn't even a place to sit. Like it was terrible.
The Navy there?
I don't know.
For someone that's been on a cruise, you are still pale as fuck.
Hey, Ryan, we got another question for Ryan. Scott Perry wants to know, do you have at least one hair on your chest?
He said doesn't have one hair on his chest. There's a hair. He's got some hair.
Hey, tell Scott, just because I'm a millennial don't mean he's got to try and hurt my feelings.
Hey, listen, he's a very tender-hearted guy, Scott. Be careful. But he's got cauliflower ears, so
got what?
He's got cauliflower ear.
What the fuck is that?
It's cauliflower. It's not collie like the dog. It's cauliflower.
No, it's not. It's cauliflower. Cauliflower.
I agree with you. Actually, cauliflower.
You like the vegetable?
What does that mean?
I'm a hard ass.
You know, like Chuck Liddell and Randy Couture, fighters, the MMA fighters. They have the messed up ears.
Yeah.
Spivey's got
that man's ears. Why you fucking with his ears?
So everything hinges on water temp. Do y'all agree?
No.
Yeah.
So, like right now, everyone's anticipating that hybrid. Well, not everyone, but most people are anticipating that hybrid run on Lake Norman. So that hasn't happened yet, but we were getting there. But this cold weather came in and kind of Mother Nature pumped the brakes on all that. So what's going on with the hybrids? What were they getting ready to do? Where were they? How close were they to making that run upriver? Wes, Spivey, Peter.
The one comment I will say about Lake Norman is not all hybrids will run the river. Fact.
Well, of course not, but a great majority, a great many of them will.
I'd say probably about a good 75% will. Yes, for sure.
I know 90% of the hybrid in Hartwell will run up the Kiwi River. And when they're there. And it's like overnight when they leave. And they all go in at the same time and they all leave at the same time. I don't know why, but that's about all I know about what hybrid do.
I used to fish the Broad River in Clarksville. I want to say like 4 or 5 straight years way back in the day. And all the guys out there, when I say used to, is back in March, April, we go up there all the way to as far as you can and fish the rocks out there for hybrids. And we caught a shit ton. But someone always told me that the hybrid go up the river first and then the striper kind of come in behind them. As far as timing wise, I can't, or vice versa. I can't recall. But I think it's true.
If that's true, then I don't think it's not very much time.
We're not talking about long time. We're talking about like a week apart, usually.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
That guy that fishes Norman a lot, Terry Maxwell, I think he said it. Ain't they looking for like 67 or 57? Right.
I would say right at 60, like consistent 60.
Water tip.
Yeah,
it's got to be at least 60. I mean, I have seen them go up the river in the upper 50s, but it's a very what's the word I'm looking for?
Keep in mind though, the upper lake warms up a little slower, so it could be 60 down lake, but it may be 55, 54 up lake too.
Lee Huffman was on the same boat I was, and I spent like an hour and a half talking to him the night before we left, and he was thinking, I mean, he fishes the river a lot more than I do, but he was thinking that this cold front was really going to mess them up, especially with their movement.
I agree.
Scott, come on the show, bud. I sent you an invite.
I really think that it's not just water temperature also. I think it has a lot to do with moon phase as well, what these striper hybrids, everything.
100%. 100%.
Why do you think it's moon phase and not water temp? I don't get that.
Go ahead.
I think it comes down to the bait. I think that the bait or the reason the bait are going to, they spawn around the same time. So that you'll notice on Lake Norman, Spivey, you and I have done a lot of dock fishing at night on Lake Norman. When those alewives get around that dock light, start circling that dock light at night, those hybrids they're upriver. And that's what they're going by. They're following those alewives.
Yeah.
but they're also spawning. But the reason the bait up there is telling them, hey, it's time to spawn.
That felt very genuine, like you really meant that from the heart.
I truly believe that. I believe
that any fish, I don't care what species it is, and this is just my opinion, any fish will leave their comfort zone to eat. If they get hungry enough, they're going to leave a certain temperature of water, and they'll go be uncomfortable if there's bait there.
Yep.
When you get hungry, you got to eat. Eventually you're going to eat somewhere. I mean,
it feels good to get back to my roots. I started out striper fishing, and I'm going to do that this weekend. And I'm not talking about saltwater striper fishing. I'm not talking about fishing in the river. I'm not talking about Tennessee. I'm not talking about fishing at tail races. I'm talking about just good old impoundment striper. I'm talking about good old reservoir striper fishing.
Now, Pete, listen to this though, okay? The ride home from the tournament at Lake Norman, all right? I wish you could have been a fly on the wall in there because it was a completely different story on the way home from the Ivory tournament. Right? We were selling the boat. We were getting out of fishing. We were done. We suck. We ain't no good.
Well, I was actually, before you said that, there has been an elephant in the room here for quite some time. And we all want an answer right now for all of our 4 viewers we got on right now, whatever. When are
26.
you buying? When are you 26? When are you buying a bass boat, JR?
I've been fishing this Daimler bass tournament for over 10 years. I fish it every year. I've just been making it more known this year. That's all. I got it. I do got to admit, I have got
bass boats coming. Got it. Okay.
I've gotten into bass fishing this year more than I've ever have before. Usually I show up and I'm like, yeah, I'm throwing an A-rig. I don't give a shit. I don't do well at all. I did win one 10 years ago in 2013, but since then I go out there, I half-ass it. These boys, they just want me to fish, and I like the camaraderie. I like the competition, but still, I'm not a bass fisherman. Well, this year I've taken it upon myself to actually make an effort. I've gotten into bass fishing a little bit. I'm putting forth effort, and I'm trying to figure these bass out. But I am not going to be a bass fisherman.
Oh, damn. Okay. Well, thanks for clarifying.
If you'll notice, my name is New School Fishing. It's not New School Catfishing. It's striper fishing. It's New School Fishing. I do all kinds of fishing.
We used to specifically target big largemouth at night. You remember that?
Oh, hell.
Well,
okay.
No, we didn't. They were always They were always a bycatch.
I know. We had several trips where we were targeting those big.
Well, anytime you dock fish at night, you'd be dumb not to be a multi-species fisherman. You'd be dumb to. So I always bring a crappie rod. I always bring at least one catfish rod, and I always bring one bass rod. And I'm sitting there. I'm catching crappie. I'm catching perch. Cut a couple perch up. Slang them out on catfish rods. Keep catching crappie. I get bored with crappie. I'll pick up a bass rod, toss a fluke, a sluggo, something in there, and smack a 3-pound spot.
So Peter, while you're here, as much as you hate river fishing, do you ever fish up river at Watery?
Nope, I don't. And to clarify, I don't hate river fishing. I just don't enjoy the easy button and dealing with the crowds out there, the clusterfuck.
Yeah,
that's more than anything else. The crowd. It's not the fact that
Watery is just as bad as Norman, but it's just bigger area.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. It's a lot of river in Watery for sure.
Yeah,
remember what I told you. Wintertime, all the fishing is kind of ass backwards in Watery. All the fishing is down lake compared to your other reservoirs as far as striper.
Not in the spring.
No, in the winter.
Oh, yeah. Well, the winter time, the striper, they go down lake. The big schools of them do. And they're still, like I said, when you're talking about a fishery that's stocking at least 1 million fingerlings a year, yeah, they're everywhere. But there is a good many of them that do go down to the big pool.
But my winter striper came from Watery. Like I've actually caught on my boat, so that's kind of sentimental,
It is, yeah.
About 5 years ago, I drove to Murray. Me and Kenny Moore. I went out to this island. We put it in that boat ramp way down on the lower lake, down by the dam. I forgot the name of it. There's a bait shop right there when you go in behind a convenience store, and then you go back in there.
Talking about a Watery, Wes?
No, on Murray.
Murray. Okay.
I can't think of the name of that ramp, but anyway, we come out of there and went straight to this island. I drove around a little bit and found some fish. We caught 10 fish in about 20 minutes, and boom, we had to go home.
Look at you.
First 5.
Look at all this experience Wes has.
And I've never been back to Murray.
Wes is a sleeper. You think that, we're talking about Murray, you don't ever see Wes talk or you don't ever see him out on any kind of like a reservoir, actually like targeting stripers on a reservoir. But listen, he's been there. He's done that. You hear what he's talking about. Wes is a sleeper.
No, listen, Pete.
Yo.
Wes is going offshore Thursday. If I apologize, can you give me them numbers again? Because I took it off the phone.
I got I can't give you those numbers because you're the one that actually took a picture of it. Remember that?
I know, but I was mad at you, so I took it off my phone.
I got you covered.
Yeah, right. Come on.
Shoot me a text later on.
What's up, bitch? I'm just happy to see y'all still talking, man. It really does make me happy.
I get mad every now and then. I usually get
it's like it's
Wes is that ADHD friend that you just have to.
Wes got brought up in me and Lee's conversation last Thursday.
Oh hell! Tell us more. Put some pants on, boy. What's wrong with
you? I hope that was shorts and not boxers.
It looked like shorts to me.
Who, me?
Yeah.
These are Hollister sweatpants.
Oh God. Y'all are to see the clothes this boy wears. It will blow your mind, man. I swear they're women's clothes.
Damn.
So, anyways, his name got brought up. What happened? Let's hear the backdrop to this.
Yeah, I'm very literally. I don't know much about the chain gang. We was talking about how I can't remember how people get mad. It's something about the chain gang, people getting mad. I can't remember.
That's all it is, a big session. Right, Scott Perry? Right? Yeah.
I remember I know Wes got out, and I can't remember exactly what I was saying, but it's something about Wes got out because all of this shit talking there. I don't remember the whole story, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So I better not even talk about it here because I've been talking to Lee here the last couple of days about a certain individual that, he's probably watching, so I don't want to mention any names or anything. I'll talk to you later about it. But so I want to see how many times his name popped up in conversation the last many days you're all there.
Yeah. I had a good talk with Lee though, man. I'm gonna tell you what, he's a solid dude.
He is. He absolutely is. You get him going and drinking, holy smokes, he won't shut up sometimes.
Dude, we talked for an hour and 45 minutes.
Yep.
I'm jealous.
Of which side? Lee's side or my side?
No, you never talk to me for no 45 minutes.
It was an hour and 45 minutes.
Well, an hour and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gives me the Cliff Notes version. I don't have to listen to a 30-minute story about, understand? I can get the Cliff Notes out of here.
Okay. Yeah, you're not getting no Cliff Notes out of me, brother. You're getting the whole story front to back.
Yeah.
All right.
I was thinking
y'all talking about chain gang. Somebody explain something to me about this because I've said this before. Explain to me why grown-ass men want to get on a website and just try to piss somebody off.
Tell us, Wes. Tell us. You're pretty fucking good at that, boy.
And then when they piss you off and they make you mad where you want to go fuck somebody up, then all of a sudden they were just kidding. Oh, I was just playing.
I'm not laughing at Wes. I'm laughing at Scott's comment right here.
No, I'm saying fuck that.
Iron sharpens iron, Wes. Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, but and then there again, if they can't make you mad, they start talking about your family or your kids. And
well, here's something about
that shit in middle school.
Here's something about the chain gang. It's kind of like a fraternity. You know how in a frat, how they call it hazing. There's several words.
That's why jump you out.
Yeah. I mean, you have to go through that to be part of the brotherhood.
I thought you said it was like a barbershop.
What I was referring to, or what I was implying was there's a lot of barbershop talk. It's a lot of locker room talk. It's a lot of, we talk shit to each other. We cross the line, but it is silly. and you know, from a lot of perspectives, it's definitely silly. You got guys that cross the line and they don't know how to reel it in, and they just it's.
Let's see, my deal with it is this, and this is being honest. As a sheltered kid, I mean, I feel like sometimes I don't know. It's hard to. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I agree with Wes. It's like, man, this is just about retarded. You know, I mean.
See, like this comment right here. I think Lee may swing both ways. That's why he talked to you in the Hollister pants. See, that's fun. That's funny. Right. It's talking junk. It's funny. You got to have thick skin. You know, you can't let comments like that get to you.
What was it? Way beyond that. That's right.
What was that?
Definitely.
That you said to the guy with the Carolina skiff, you was gonna tie one off, and I didn't know what that meant. What was that you said on the boat that time?
Me?
Yes, you.
I was going to tie one off.
Or you asked him if he had one tied off. Was he going to tie one off? And I didn't know what that meant.
I don't know what that means.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, my God.
No, Josh Skinner, to answer your question, I'll be fishing offshore. Well, I'm going to fish Thursday. And it's Lori's weekend and our anniversary. So I'm going to be at the beach probably until Sunday morning. We're going to leave in the morning. So I won't make it to Santee this weekend.
Hey, Benji, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Going to Lake Murray this weekend. I haven't been to Lake Murray since last year. And I've been to Lake Murray in March several times. But I've never seen birds there in March. So you think there'll be any with this cold front, you know, things kind of Mother Nature kind of pumping the brakes on spring? Do you think there'll be a few birds left?
I'm going to tell you, it's hard to say. I mean, this weather has really screwed the fishing up. Well, I don't say screw it up. It's changed it up.
There were some birds yesterday on Lake Norman, so they're still there.
I haven't been to Murray. I've been on Russell pretty hard, and I've been finding fish where I didn't think they would be. You know,
let me ask you this. I've always heard of people cut baiting on Murray. I have tried cut baiting one time on Murray with zero success. Have you ever cut baited on Murray, and is that a good tactic on Murray this time of year?
I have, and I've caught good fish on Murray.
I've always heard that early spring, like March, is a good time to cut bait on Murray.
It is. You got to find the fish though.
I'm gonna hit the main lake points.
Let me ask you this: why are you fishing Murray?
Me and my friends, we go to Murray once a year, every year. So it's a group.
Well, there's a big open tournament on Hartwell coming up, like the 23rd or 24th, I think. That I signed up for. I'm gonna fish Hartwell pretty hard this coming weekend, and I'm gonna try to fish the tournament.
Okay. What's the tournament? What tournament is it?
I think it's a Striper Kings Open.
Striper Kings Open. Okay.
It should pay pretty good. I mean, it has in years past, so we're gonna give it a shot.
What's your game plan, Benji?
Man, I can't tell you all of that.
Well, I mean, you just be generic. Are you gonna?
He's going to chase birds.
Are you going?
I'm gonna go up the river. I'm gonna go up the river and probably cut bait.
Are you really? Okay.
I really am.
Buying bait.
Do what, Spivey?
To being a guide, are you catching bait or are you buying bait?
He's not a guide.
I thought he was.
I'm not a guy.
No, Benji's not a guy.
I got a little bit in the summertime on Hartwell, but other than that, no. I just fun fish.
Those boys don't typically catch bait because Lake Hartwell Outdoor Center, Spivey.
That's right. You can drive through and buy it and be done.
It is the greatest bait shop you'll ever.
What does herring? What's the price for, like, I don't know, dollar bill size herring over there?
$7 a dozen, I think.
$7 a dozen.
I think they're $7 a dozen.
Yeah.
Well, I know you said you ain't never seen a dollar bill herring. I got a picture in my hand. I will send you of a dollar bill herring that come from Lake Norman.
I've seen them. I've caught a few back in my live bait heydays back in the early 2000s. I've definitely caught some 10, 12 inches.
If I'm pulling live bait, then I would prefer to have seasoned bait from a bait shop. If I'm cut baiting, I would much rather have bait that I caught. Like on Lake Norman, I don't care who you are. I don't care how good you are. You're not going to outproduce freshly caught cut alewives up the river in the spring. I don't care who you are.
What's the difference?
You're not gonna outdo it.
I agree.
I was with Todd Asher one night. First time I've ever caught alewives. We were catching them on sabiki rigs. But what's the big difference? Are alewives, are they in the herring family?
Yes.
Or they say they're so much alike that you really can't tell the difference unless you cut one open.
Yeah.
And the alewives, the meat's a little bit darker. Is that correct?
Yeah, the lining in their belly is black.
And I think they got bigger eyes also.
Me and Lee talked about this the other night, and he said it's pretty much like when you're pulling a herring in a river, it's like walking a stripper down the strip at Myrtle Beach or something like that. Everybody's going to be looking and wanting a piece of it.
Damn.
Scott Perry said, JR, if I send you a pin, are you going to fish it? Of course. Yes, I will. Absolutely.
Scott sent me about 8 or 10 pins last month, and not a single fish is caught from him.
Truth be told, Scott has probably fished Murray more than anybody.
Yeah. Did he send you to the gar hole?
He sent me, I don't know what the fuck he caught it.
Lake Murray is a very big gar lake. It's very easy to get into the gar hole on Lake Murray.
And I'm just joking about that Scott Perry thing. He sent me some good stuff. Some of them did not pan out. I mean, anyone's got a good fish IQ. You pull into a place 10, 15 minutes, you don't see what you want, you're out of there, And so a lot of places that wasn't happening, So,
yeah.
So, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Pound for pound, a gar fights as good as about anything in freshwater I've ever caught.
They do. Yeah. They're a very good fight. Very good, very sporty. But the thing is, with people telling you places, I've always believed this, you can't, it's hard. I'm not saying that you can't, but it's very hard to catch someone else's fish. So if someone's having success, they got a honey hole and they're having success. I mean, I'm not talking about crappie. I'm talking about bass. I'm talking about striper, catfish. If someone has success in a certain spot, it's hard for someone else to come in and have success too. It's hard to catch someone else's fish. I mean, because there's so many subtleties that person's doing that you're not going to be doing. People, we fish too differently.
Hey, did you see that comment, Pete?
I did, yeah. Yep.
He's stirring the pot.
That's all right. Hey, I'm going to post your pin, Scott. What you going to do about that?
Scott, don't hate. He's going to retext me the numbers after the show anyway, and I might get some good grouper numbers from it's over with.
Scott, I'm going to send your damn pins. I'm going to post them online here in a little bit.
Hey, Pete, won't you go fishing with us Thursday? You off?
I am actually leaving tomorrow afternoon for work. This is going to be my long 5-day stretch. 4-day stretch.
If Thursday holds out like it looks right now, I'm going to run out about 42 miles an hour all the way up.
Go for it. I'm looking at my phone, and the weather don't look as good as you think. I don't think, at least. Let's see.
Well, it did this afternoon. Let's see. Fish weather.
March is also a good trophy time. It's a time to target a bigger striper on Lake Murray.
It is. March and April.
I'm showing two footers 11 seconds apart, Pete, for Thursday.
Yeah, I'm showing a very small window where it's, it's actually, yeah, you're right. Looks good.
Yeah, all day Thursday will be awesome coming and going.
Now, Benji.
And then Friday's going to blow like hell, 7 footers at 7 seconds apart.
Yep. Trophy striper. Go ahead. Let's do this.
It's something that I like to do. Okay. Like, for example, in the summertime, when fish are down at the towers, you go out there, you got all the guides out there. It's hard to find a spot. Everybody's tied off to the towers. They got their rock and roll blast, and they got their green lights out. You know how it is at Lake Murray in the summer. So those guys are they're catching suspended fish in the thermocline around 50 to 60 foot deep over 180 foot of water.
That's right.
So have you ever tried, like this time of year, for example, the fish haven't started migrating up the major creek arms, they haven't gotten up in the tight schools and started going up into their spawning routine. So right now, I would guess the best place to start would be the main lake points. So have you ever anchored on a main lake point, and let's say, try to stagger your depth? Like, let's say you're coming up the point of the main lake. Let's say Buffalo Creek, one of the major creek arms. You're going up to the mouth of one of the major creek arms. You know how the points kind of taper off. Let's say you're coming up into, let's say you hit 40 feet of water The lines are pretty close on your graph. You're going from, to 40 feet of water to 30 to 20 to 10. Have you ever tried to anchor like in, let's say, 20 feet where you could cast, or if you were going to cut bait, where you could cast to like 30 feet on one side of the boat and then cast to like less than 10 feet on the other side of the boat?
Exactly. I mean, that's, come the Hartwell tournament in a couple of weeks, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be probably 3/4 of the way up the river and fishing off of Main Point, and I'm going to anchor up and sling bait out and,
okay.
Give it a shot.
Another question. Have you ever done that exact thing except instead of cut baiting, staggered your down rods and down rod fished with live bait?
Yeah, I'm watching them on here.
I haven't down rodded like that, but I have fished live bait on the bottom and done good. Pull up on a point, an anchor lock and just sling live bait out, and I've waxed them.
Okay.
It's just, but as far as down rod, no, I haven't.
So
either.
Hey, I'm telling you something I did way back when. I used to cut bait fish in Norman all the time, and of course, every lake's a little different. And I threw out the whole barrage of baits: gizzard shad, herring, or alewives, thread fins, and the sleeper bait that no one ever used. And
chicken livers.
Nope, I caught the hell out of big fish. Big fish
Clams.
For Norman standards, brim.
Okay, small brim.
We killed striper with brim.
Let me stop you. That makes a lot of sense because I've had people tell me I'm crazy for doing it, but I've caught some damn good fish doing this.
Yeah.
Fishing gizzard shad live on the bottom.
But I personally, I've cut brim, like cut the tails off, kind of rounded it. And for some reason, man, brim was the bait for me in March and April. For some reason, you threw in these points, cut baiting.
It's a big profile bait,
Hey, I've done the same thing. Well, Marker, I'm going to go ahead and tell you because it's done. It's over. So it's not a secret anymore. And it's not even a good place to fish anymore. Marker 20. That is the biggest point on Lake Norman. There's not a bigger point on Lake Norman. That point comes way out and joins the main river channel. It's ridiculous how long the point is.
Is that the one right there above State Park?
It's the first island.
Yeah.
Point off that first island.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the way up to the buoy marker is sitting in like 10 feet of water. And then it goes from like 8 feet, 6 feet, 4 feet, 3. Like it taper. It's an extremely slow tapering point. Like it tapers way out. Yeah. Kind of forgot what I was gonna say.
You're gonna love this. So a lot of my spring Norman days, Davidson Creek and Ramsey Creek.
Yeah, that's way on down the bottom. I know what I was gonna say now. Cut baiting for striper in the spring, like back when you could hear the owl wives busting the wall. You could go up there at night. You could shut your big motor down and you could just listen. This is what made me fall in love with Norman, is this exact thing. Going up there around marker 20 and on up to the other islands too, but all in that whole area right there. You go up there, you shut your big motor off, you get on your trolling motor, and it's silence because it's in the dead of night, and you can hear bait hitting the water. That's when you start throwing those red fins, those striper up there spawning. Well, anyways, I got to where I even the nights that I didn't feel like going up there and trolling around and slinging a red fin 1,000 times, I would just anchor up and cut bait, and I would catch flatheads and striper on cut bait. But my best cut bait was always white perch. Mm-hmm. White perch head was a wonderful striper bait.
Yep, I agree. But yeah, Benji, don't overlook a brim. Cut up put the head of a brim out there. You might get a dang donkey. You won't even know about it. But yeah.
But now I don't have any faith in brim. I don't have any confidence in brim.
On Norman, is the bait spawning yet?
Is it what?
No.
Spawning yet?
Spawning yet? No.
No, I think some of the threadfin may be, but the owl wives aren't.
And I don't fish much this time of year. I went yesterday, just out the.
I went last weekend and caught a load of bait, and I think it was thread fin. I did.
I hear you on
I did. And the thread fin, they were all over the bank. I mean, just all over the bank. I thought it was fish running them on the bank, but it wasn't. I think it was them spawning, which I think is a little early. But
some of them they don't spawn all at the same time. They spawn in waves, just like any other species.
I mean, they were in 2 foot of water, and they were actually
okay.
There were some of them going up on the bank.
Well, let me ask you this: what was nearby? Did you have a boat slip nearby? Was there something nearby?
I can't tell all that now.
Okay. All right.
I was in some skinny water, but I mean, they were like, I thought it was fish running them on the bank, but it wasn't. I never seen a fish come out of the water.
Yeah. There was a wave of threadfin that had already went up. They were spawning up there.
Yeah. It had to be. It had to be.
This. You said springtime you would hit Davison and Ramsey. Do you think they run those creeks like they do the river portion of Norman?
The hybrids, nope. I guarantee you. And actually, I've been kind of considering this idea of maybe one day, in the spring when things are right, to perhaps go on my routes and see if I can go down there in the spring and catch striper like I used to. I know we all know they're in the lake, and they're bigger now. I mean, the bigger, it's a bigger average right now.
Are there enough striper in Lake Norman to actually go out there and target?
And that's the thing. That's why I want to go to see if I can target them and actually nail 4 good fish.
But why would you do that?
You're right. Why would I? But
why not go to Lookout? Why not go to or Hickory or Roadhead?
That's a longer drive for me though. It's a lot longer drive.
A lot longer?
Yep.
Is it a lot longer?
Yep.
Because it's not a lot longer for me to go to Hickory or Roadhead.
Yeah, keep in mind I live in Salisbury, not Charlotte.
So what are you taking to get to Norman?
What would I be taking?
77.
I take Highway 150, basically 152 to 150 all the way.
Okay, the section of 150 that you enter, how far from 321 are you?
Way out there to the east side, like where Mooresville begins, I guess, on the east side of Mooresville.
It's another 15 minutes, Peter.
No, it's longer than that.
Okay.
Well, it's much longer than that. I promise you.
I got a question. I went crappie fishing Saturday. One of the worst crappie trips I've ever been on.
That's fishing, Wes, but you did catch a few.
No, we caught 2.
Well, that's better than getting skunked.
No, that's bullshit. But anyway.
You went to Clark Hill, didn't you?
Yeah. But I want y'all to look at these pictures. I say this is crappie, or it's some of the biggest fucking gizzard shad I've ever seen in my life. And I'm still halfway decent kind of seeing what a fish is on a depth finder, but I want y'all to look at this and see what y'all think.
Okay.
We'll try to get you a good picture of it.
How much red is in the arch?
Oh, it's solid yellow.
No, there's red. You can see the red.
I don't know. I would say no. I'd say they're not crappie. The reason why is this time of year. You know what? I take that back. You do get good schools this time of year, but normally like your bigger fish, they're in like pairs or 3s and 4s. But again, every lake is different. My lake, they don't seem to school up in big numbers like that. I want to say they're shad.
I don't know, Wes. I don't know. The gizzard shad have been stacked up pretty good on Hartwell, but I hadn't been on Clark's Hill. I don't know.
Look at this one. It'll come into focus here. Let's see.
I don't think so.
That's too big to be crappie, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, most
how deep the water?
17 foot.
It's hard to tell. I would need a down scan image to have a.
When I looked at the down scan, they looked a lot smaller. Like, see right there, that was the first screenshot I took. Well, let's see.
Yeah, a lot of that's brush. A lot of that, like right here in the center, is
no,
brush.
That's not brush. That brush is not suspended like that.
I think there's some brush in there. I would have to see a down scan image to get a full.
I looked at the down scan. It's not brush. It's fish. I just couldn't tell what. Could it be big gizzard?
Well, the thing is, it does lead you to believe that it's bait because they're not streaking. Because normally, if this fish, you're going to see streaks.
Yeah,
crappie normally will show up as little tiny arches, just all on top of each other.
Yeah, and those aren't really boomerangs. Those are more. They're more cylindrical.
And look at the bottom. See, that looks like bait. That looks like big fish under it, whatever it is.
Yes.
Yeah. So you would not. So if it was crappie, you'd get all the same size little dots on the screen. There wouldn't be various arches at all.
Didn't it rain Friday?
It did. It rained Friday night. I don't know how much they got down there, but it did rain.
So Scott Perry says this time of year it'd be better to be dragging the creeks with your boards in the dirt. So he's saying to fish shallow, get your boards up in the shallow water. I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna think the best place to be is gonna be in the creek channel, be in the deeper water. And I think you're probably gonna catch right now with this cold front and the water. We're getting down in the 20s at night, low 30s, and the water temp never did hit 60. So these fish are deep. I mean, yes, they may be shallow early in the morning. They may be some fish shallow, but this cold front, this water tip still being in the 50s. It's getting down in the 20s and low 30s at night. You better be pulling that damn creek channel.
I think your schoolies are deep, but
let me ask you this, JR. Where will they be in the midday?
In the midday, they're going to be deeper.
Really?
Yeah, they're going to,
I totally disagree. Them fish are going to be on the bank.
Well, it just depends on which fish you're talking about. I think that if you're striper they're extremely light sensitive. They're very,
they are. But I think eyes. Temperature plays a bigger role.
They'll be shallow by the time that sun reaches the top of the trees. They're going to be deep.
Striper hit a different mode in the spring. You throw away all rules in the springtime.
Well, here's what you do: you pull some shallow, you pull some down rods on the opposite side of the bank. You get some boards up on the bank, and you put some boards out on on your port side. Let's say your bank is on your starboard side. You run some down rods and boards on your port side. And if you start catching the fish on your port side, guess what? Move your ass out deeper.
Yeah. But everything I've caught, I went last weekend. Everything we caught was shallow on the bank side. And I didn't get down there until 10:30.
Ryan,
so everything you caught.
Buddy? I hadn't talked to Ryan. I hadn't talked to you in over a year. I hope life's treating you good, brother.
Oh, Ryan Ruff. Okay.
Yeah, Ryan's a good dude.
Come on.
Let's see. In Tennessee, on Tim's Ford, the fish have seemed to move up the rivers. A lot of rain and water flow.
Wes, I said something about rain though, because so me and Tennille went crappie fishing, night fishing 2 weeks ago, and we caught 31 in about an hour and a half. And a friend of mine at work went this past Friday night, and they caught 2 spotted bass.
I caught 2 in 7 hours and said, "Fuck it, I'm going boat riding."
Who's your friend?
Huh?
Who's your friend?
I believe you're well aware.
I have no idea.
Catfish Dave.
How did you know?
Damn.
JR, you didn't tell JR about you and Catfish Dave.
Didn't
Shit.
You just broke the ice.
Damn. Well, my bad. Oops, I didn't mean.
I know it wasn't Keith.
I'm
David
sorry
Buff.
about that. Change the subject, Ryan.
All right. But on a serious note, I've never been in Ramsey or Davison really, really far. But in my head, I would think the water temperature would be similar to what the river is. Can you not just run up Ramsey or run up Davis until you hit the same water temperature, and the hybrids be doing the same thing there if they would be upriver?
Not really. Ramsey is more of a deep bowl. That's the thing. There's no creek. It's just a big ass deep bowl. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, you guys love catfishing. You guys need to go in the back of Davidson. I'm telling you, there is some dang big ones. It's kind of a hidden secret, but there are some solid catfish back there in the back, especially now. And that used to be back there in the back of Davidson. That is where we used to net all of our shad way back in the day. They're still there. I promise you, they're still there. But it's a lot of miles. I mean, it's a lot of miles. So it's a matter of you want to do it or not.
You said back
at that comment right there.
Davidson, yeah. If you look on your Lake Norman map, find Reed's Creek. And that's what I speak of. So you got Reeds. If you run towards the back of Reeds, you have 2 bridges kind of side by side. One is the 85 bridge, I think it is. And there's some road. Basically, as soon as you cross the first bridge, that's where you start looking. And I'm telling you, man, there are some big catfish caught there every year, all year long back there. There's great crappie fishing back there too.
Hey Ryan, there's some big catfish caught on the Cumberland too. See that comment that guy just put up, Ryan? Best river. That's the best river to fish for big fish.
So, it is.
I'll tell you this. I have won a lot of striper tournaments. Back in the Lake Norman glory days, fishing that Reeds Creek back there. A lot of guys have. That used to be the big striper hole for Lake Norman, but there's no point in going there no more. But I promise you, they're still there.
Now, Lake Norman's got a lot of bait, right?
No, it is not.
No, it don't. Is that why y'all's fish don't really get that big?
Yep, that's why it's a shithole.
Now, see, Murray, on the other hand, Murray's loaded with bait, and those fish just don't get big.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, y'all guys that fish Tennessee. I know they night fish and they use cut bait. Why is it that you catch such big striper at night on cut bait, but during the daytime they're live bait?
So, come on.
I'll be right back. I got a needy dog right now.
I do too. Y'all be good. I'm gone.
You gone, buddy? All right, we'll see you.
Yeah, I got a dog I gotta get.
See you, man.
I think cut baiting at night. I've caught most of my big fish actually cut baiting during the day. My biggest freshwater striper was 52 pounds, and I caught it in the middle of July at 2:30 in the afternoon. And it was 100 fucking degrees. Cut baiting, yeah. My thing was when I was fishing impoundments and even fishing Tennessee, if the sun's up early in the morning, I would pull boards until the sun got high, 11, 12 o'clock, and then I'd cut bait. For a simple fact, most of that water I'm fishing up there is shallow. And like they say, stripers, they're pretty light sensitive. Their eyes are light because they feed up. They're always looking up.
You're talking about like a regular Carolina rig with a float?
What, for cut baiting?
Mm-hmm.
No, I let it stay on the bottom. I think striper, and I don't know if they can see better than catfish. I know they can't smell good as a catfish. But I think they're more prone. I would say I've tried it before, like a Santee rig, and never caught a fish. Not saying it wouldn't work. It could have just been the times that I was trying it. There just wasn't no fish there. But there again, when I was in Tennessee, I caught most of my fish during the day. Me and Shane Howington went to a creek one night, and we just planned. Shane got up there a little bit late, and we went on out there and fished, and we were planning to fish for 2 days. Well, this turned into one of the most epic trips we ever had. I think we caught 17 fish, and we stayed there. We didn't even come off the water. We stayed on the water for 23 hours. Our smallest fish was in the 30s, and our biggest fish was like 45 or 40.
Hey, I know where they were, Spivey. We already go up there.
And you've already been up there.
I've been up there several times.
Yeah. But, we started catching fish about 3 o'clock that afternoon, and we caught fish all night long. And we're catching them that morning about 5:30 in the morning. I finally told Shane, I said, man, we've got to go back. I said, I'm tired. I said,
it'll blow your mind, Spivey. It'll blow your mind. You know why? Because he's throwing you off is what he's doing, because he's not telling you that the place he's talking about fishing, the water temp in July, when the water temp is like 85, 90 degrees around here. Yeah, we're talking in the 50s up there, buddy.
Is that
these motherfuckers are spawning. They're spawning in July and August.
Is that the pushing boat thing?
No, that's another part of Tennessee.
That's the Caney Fork. That's not the pushing boat.
No, pushing.
This is actually really. It's really.
No. They did it on the Caney Fork, but no, the pushing the boat thing was up on 61, JR.
Oh well, my back says that the Caney Fork. There's plenty of boat pushing that goes on the Caney Fork.
As much as I enjoyed Tennessee, I would much rather drag a boat down 74 as opposed to up 40.
Well, yeah, it's a horrible drive. Absolutely. 40 towing a boat's absolutely a nightmare.
Here's the deal. Do you want to catch?
Can be worth it.
Do you want to catch? Maybe take a chance at catching the big fish or catch a lot of small fish. I always like big fish. I chased big fish. I wanted quality fish, and that just wasn't around here.
I'm surprised you went crappie fishing.
Huh?
I'm surprised you went crappie fishing.
Well, we took some friends. One of the waitresses where I eat breakfast at every morning. Her and my wife's good friends too, and her husband really likes crappie fish. And my boat hadn't been in the water in over 4 months, so I just wanted to run it, and just get out on the water and kill some time.
That's what I was gonna say. All that was Wes was running his boat
to
make sure everything was good.
Why not Lake Wiley, Crowders, or Allison Creek? I mean, ain't they hot right now?
It's a long drive for him though.
Oh.
Wes don't fish Wiley.
No, I'm not like but I tell you, I started saltwater fishing last year. Well, I mean, I've saltwater fished my whole life, but I actually, bought a boat, started fishing offshore, and there's nothing like it. I mean, it's like the mecca of fishing. And that's what I'm like. In the morning, I'm taking my boat back to Little River, Cricket Cove Marina, and it'll be there until November of this year.
Yeah,
it'll be on there the rest of the year.
I don't know why we don't wait and do this annual trip in April. April, the fish are definitely moving up the rivers, up the backs of the creeks. They're schooled up. It's fishing's a lot better in April. I don't know why we don't do it in April, but we chose to do it in March. So,
but Pete's got a boat that he keeps at a marina, and just when you're doing that, it's just what do they charge you, Pete, a month? What is yours?
Right now it is $262, I think, is a month.
Oh, that ain't bad. I pay $350, but
Little River is that
yours is covered. Mine's not.
Yeah.
Yours at Little River, Pete?
No, mine's at Southport.
Oh, okay. I was about to say I know you run out of Southport a lot. I thought Little River's kind of a run from there.
It is, it's a run. So I mean, it's expensive and all, but man, you look at it this way, it's like shit, 260, 250, whatever. That's like a tow there and back,
Yeah.
It really is. So
Will White, he just moved his boat back to Southport, I think.
Sure did. Yep. We're gonna be dock mates here in a little bit.
Wes, you pay a good bit more than that, don't you, at Little River? It was like $350.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I like about my marina is we're the closest to the inlet, and mine's unlimited. If they'll put it in and out of the water, if I come
and they keep it, it's covered. They keep it inside.
They keep it covered.
They wash it. They wash it.
No, I have to wash it down, but they'll flush my motors.
Well, whenever they pull them out, I've noticed that they do hit it with.
Yeah, they'll wash the hull and stuff off.
They wash the hull.
A little rinse down on the outside.
And then I can call them and tell them, if my boat's already there, hey, I'm coming fishing. They'll gas the boat up for me and charge my account, put bait in the box, whatever I want for bait, ice it down. And then when I get done, I call them or I come in. And the way we do it there, if nobody's there, if I leave my VHF antenna up, that means I'm going back out to fish. They won't bother the boat. But if I leave it down, I can go home and I know they'll put it up.
And you can you got them to put it down one time for me. When I got there a day early, I was going fishing with you.
Yeah.
And you actually got
on the boat that night. So
you was like, don't get a hotel, just stay on the boat. And it was awesome, man. I went down there to Cricket Cove Marina, and Wes had his boat in the water, and I just went down there and hopped on his boat, got up in his cuddy and slept, camped out. It was awesome.
So Pete, this coming April, May, when the mahi get thick, you going out of Southport or you running up to Moorhead?
This episode is about Lake Murray striper fish and catfish. It's about Lake Murray.
We've been all over the damn place. Yeah, we've already mentioned Murray more than enough.
These boys are damn picking Peter Malick's brain on freaking saltwater.
One thing I got to add, talk about Murray here real quick, is them damn guides on Murray. They got it fucking good, man. 1 million per year. I mean, it's like anyone can literally guide on Murray, but Lake Norman, you can't because 325,000 I think it is, and you really got to know what the f you're doing there on Lake Norman to really make it happen. I mean, seriously, not anyone can come in there and get the job done.
And like me and Spivey, when we found everybody found the fish. Everybody knows where everybody was. We saw you, Peter. We saw the guy that won the tournament. We saw everybody that was in the tournament. We knew where they were. We knew where the fish were. They were where the fish were. We found the fish. We knew everybody knew where the fish were. The problem was the motherfuckers wasn't eating. They were not chewing.
You don't have that.
Spivey having ADHD is like, we got to do something. We got to do something different. We got to do this. We got to do this. We got to do that. And so we're end up we're running and gunning.
My ass didn't want to run the market.
Why do we have to run and gun? We know where the fish are. Why are we leaving the fish? Yeah, they're not chewing, but if they're not chewing here, what makes you think they're chewing anywhere else? So why not we just stay here, stay on top of them until they chew? And that's exactly what the guy did that won the tournament. He stayed on the fish until they ate. And I think that that's what's his name? Scott Perry told told me before we got in the tournament. He's like, if you find the fish, don't leave them if they're not biting. Stay there. Don't abandon game. Don't plan A.
Yeah.
Don't abandon plan A if you find the fish. And that's what we did. We found the fish, and we just couldn't help it. And it wasn't just Spivey. It was me too.
Lake Norman is
we knew that there were fish in other places, and we were like, let's go see if they're chewing there. So we left. We left them.
I'm going to tell you what I've learned on Norman over the years. And this is why I like to have 2 days of pre-fish in Norman, because at some parts of the lake, they will bite at a certain time, and another part of the lake, they'll bite at a different time. So you got to kind of sort of pattern. Hey, let's say, for example, marker 13, it's going to be a morning bite there, but they'll shut off at 10 o'clock. But if we run towards the back, and I'm throwing a creek name out here, if we run towards the back of Mountain Creek, they'll bite there around noon to 2 o'clock, So you got to kind of pattern what these fish.
See, I don't really agree with the whole pre-fishing thing. I kind of feel like that's cheating.
Maybe is, maybe isn't,
I think that
if there was a rule out there that said no pre-fishing 2 days prior to tournament, I would follow it.
Here's my opinion. I think that they need to have that rule. Not only have that rule, I think that they need to incorporate another lake into the hybrid striped bass challenge. I think it needs to be between Norman and at least one more lake. That way you could.
The purpose is to have it on Norman for hybrids only.
You could really. That's true. That's true. But it's hard to keep people from pre-fishing when you do that, because everybody knows, like me and Spivey, when we got in that tournament, we figured them out like the last hour of the tournament. It's like, man, if we would have been doing this the whole time, we would have showed up with a lot better, with some fish. We couldn't even get a keeper. I think we caught 8 or 10 fish that day. The biggest one we caught was like 17 inches. We couldn't even get a freaking keeper. But by the end of the day, we were catching them pretty consistently. And we were like, man, I wish we'd have been doing this from the beginning. And had we pre-fished, we would have known that.
Listen, Pete just kind of brought it up. And I was talking about this morning at breakfast. What do y'all think? And nobody's ever really gave me a definite answer that what they knew for sure. But just hypothetically speaking, like crappie. You can be and I've been on crappie on brush pile, and I'm talking about literally catching them every time you drop. And then all of a sudden, when they stop biting, they all stop biting. I can understand 1 or 2 fish, but it's like all 100 fucking fish stop biting. Yeah. What causes that? What is that? Something nobody?
I think it's a culmination of several things. One of those things being water, whether they're pulling water, generating.
Joe, no, Joe, I'm talking about being
releasing water. If you look at it, I know that's exactly what I'm talking about too. Crappie on a brush pile. Crappie on a brush pile, water release schedules dictate their bite a lot. There's a large part of when those crappie bite on those brush piles has a lot to do with when they release the release schedule. So I think a lot of times when that bite cuts off, like all of a sudden it's just like you hit a switch at 9:52 a.m. they just all of a sudden quit biting. If you would look, you would probably realize that they stopped running water at 9:52. They stopped pulling water.
Well, then what makes them start? Then what makes them start back 20 minutes later? All of them.
My answer is ass backwards. All right, so I think it has nothing to do with water flow or anything. I've been there all the time where you catch 5, 6, 7, 8 real quick, bang, 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 bang. They're there, and all of a sudden, complete shut off. And the only thing I can answer to that is you have done something that has spooked them, like stomp on the boat. You take a step from the top of the from your bow to your stern there, and you made a little racket. And now then fish have dropped down to the bottom of the brush, and now they shut down. Or, for example, you drop a minnow net or just make some kind of racket in the boat. And I've seen it.
Yeah, because you can come back to those fish a couple hours later, or not even that long.
Any given lake, I'll have. On these summertime guide trips that I fished brush, I had like maybe 20 brush piles, and I know which ones might produce, which ones got that pile of fish. And a lot of times, man, it's, you pull up to one and you tell them, hey guys, listen, no sudden abrupt movements, because you do that, they'll shut down, and you'll catch 5, 6, 7, 8 real quick. And you might unhook a fish and drop in the floor of the boat. Just that alone right there will spook them, and they will stop biting. And so
or throwing one back. I've noticed that if you catch a real big crappie and you net him, I feel like they even know when you net one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, because the release schedule makes more sense to me because
well,
I mean the thing about it
is going to feel any current. Like for example, Baden Lakes where I brush fish all the time. You can go way back in a creek.
You'd be surprised how far down the lake that current is a factor.
JR, the creek, Hall Creek, where I was fishing a couple of months ago before I started offshore fishing, that creek is about 27 miles from the dam, and I was back in at about 2.5 miles. That I mean, I could be wrong, but I just don't think that flow, water pulling, had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with noise in the boat. Seriously.
Yeah.
Sometimes, here's one also for you. Sometimes, and it depends how desperate you get. I feel like these fish will feel the pulse from your electronics. So a lot of times you turn off your unit.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to turn it off. Just hit sleep mode. Just put it on sleep mode. That's all you have to do, and it'll stop that transducer from pinging.
Watson Hayes. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Okay, next time you guys don't think it's flow. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to drop.
Put Watson Hayes comment up there.
What I want you to do is I want you to drop a 100th ounce jig head down and see if it drops completely vertical. If it drops completely vertical, okay, fine. Current has nothing to do with it.
Well, JR, I noticed when we were dropping our minnows, I didn't see the line like going left or right. It was staying straight down.
What, did you free line in the minnows? Absolutely no weight. How much weight do you have on this minnows?
No, I'd have a little split shot on it.
Okay, a split shot is like a boat anchor when we're talking about what I'm talking about. So you can't judge it by that.
Put Watson Hayes' comment up there. I didn't even think about that. Very last comment.
Yeah, that could be true as well. Yeah, absolutely. Catfish or bass around.
That does make sense because how many times have you reeled a crappie up and a bass chase it?
Yeah.
Anytime you catch a fish that you're going to release that's not a targeted species, for example, a bass or a spot while you're crappie fishing, you don't ever let it go right there where you're fishing. You put it in a live well and you let it go later because, everybody knows that. When you're crappie fishing, if you catch a spot, don't throw that spot back in. Then it'll shut the bite down quicker than anything. I'll put that spot in the live well. Let him go later.
Or use him for bait.
All right, guys. Well, hey, it's been an hour and 12 minutes. I think it's been a good show. Don't you guys?
I think they want to talk some more. What are you going to say about offshore fishing there?
I got to go to bed. I got to get up at 5 o'clock.
What? Wes, what are you doing? No.
Holy shit. Oh, my goodness. I got to get up early too, but, not that early.
All right, guys.
All right,
text me those numbers.
Oh, me and Pete's going to stay on here for about another 15 minutes. You guys have a good night.
All right. See ya.
Good night, guys. Hey, Pete, for real, text me those numbers.
All right.
All right, y'all. Good night.
See ya.
Good night. Good show. Damn good show.